played Justin's previous film, I Still Exist, at the Underground a month ago, I would say, roughly. So whoever was here a month ago might remember that film. I think there are a lot of new people here this time around, so.
Yep.
You want the line?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, okay. No, he's gonna do this.
It is bright.
This is the Trastevere.
We get a hair light.
And you become in the limelight, you know?
We get a hair light on Justin.
It's not karaoke time yet.
Afterwards, by the way, whoever wants to hang after, people tend to do that. Drink a little bit or something. Seems good. Okay, so let's discuss the film before this that everybody got angry about first. I'm just kidding. Okay, so Justin, also I wrote a little piece called The Internet New Wave, and Justin's one of the key filmmakers that I wrote about. And Justin has a very successful YouTube channel that you could go to. Is it Justin Kaminuma?
Yeah, it's my name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did I pronounce that correctly?
it's perfect.
Okay, so Justin Kaminuma on YouTube, where he makes these, well, I guess you'll describe what they are. I don't want to put any words to it. And Justin is sort of a part of this, not maybe unintentional group of filmmakers that are making, there's a sort of a crossover of films that draw from nostalgia, what people might call dreamcore, or various internet aesthetics, and bringing that into a more cinematic language, I guess. So my first question for you, Justin, is how did you develop this extraordinary style? I'm not even sure how technically you pull it off, and you also, I know you work for music video directors, and you also direct music videos, utilizing this unique visual language that you've developed. So how did you evolve into that? How do you find that visual language?
I mean, it was, I think it's just coming from so many different points of inspiration. Like, it comes from as much, like, TikTok edits as I pull from, like, experimental filmmakers. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do with my work, is, like, try to find this very thin line between internet and lowbrow sort of aesthetics with experimental film, and try to elevate it into something that's more, that lasts longer than an Instagram reel or something. And this film is not done at all yet, as you could probably tell. The sound is not mixed at all, so I should have probably had subtitles on that. But the visuals are pretty close, and I do a lot of blending and I do a lot of layering with what I shoot, and I try my best to sort of tell a story without characters and without specific narrative. Partly because I don't have the budgets to sort of do that, and so this is kind of my creative way of expressing myself. But also because I just find it interesting, like, to sort of create my own lane that's very, like, voiceover heavy, and that's almost like the type of things that my screenwriting professor in college, like, she would have told me not to do, I think, like, what I'm doing is sort of leaning into sort of, like, the sentimental aesthetics, and, like, very, like, just going all the way with what I'm doing and trying to be sincere in how I tell my stories. And I think that's, something that the internet likes or yearns for, maybe, in this very like post-ironic sort of world that we live in. And I think that's hopefully, like, why my work has been, or that, like, why my work could land with people, and why that has been sort of connecting with a lot of people lately. So, yeah.
No need to be humble. Justin's previous film has 500,000 views on YouTube or something?
I didn't know.
Something in that ballpark. So his films are very evocative and do tap into something in the zeitgeist. So I guess, so what was that point? Like, in film school, were you already going like, fuck these teachers, they don't know what they're talking about? Or at that point you're like trying to stick to landing, trying to make the conventional thing, and then something broke, or you realize that that's just not your way of expressing whatever it is you want to express?
Yeah, so I went to I learned film theory, so it wasn't like production, and so because of that it was almost even more traditional what they were trying to sort of teach and what I was learning, and I honestly love that side of film, and eventually I do want to like sort of just go all the way in that direction, but I definitely had a moment with my professor Jason at Emory who sort of saw what I was doing, which at that stage was very early, but he saw like the way I would sort of create non-narrative films that still said something, and I think when you do that, it's hard to, it's hard to convince people that that's more than what it is, because so many people do that kind of thing online. But he sort of convinced me that like I should push myself all the way into that direction and see how far I can go, and go as experimental as I can, and explore like montage as not just like, like a music video type thing, but like as a way of telling a story and merging narrative with non-narrative, I guess. So that's kind of where it came from, I think.
We had a different filmmaker here at our third screening or second screening, Bill Morrison. I don't know if anybody knows his work. I think he recently was nominated for the Oscar Best Short Film a year ago, and he does something that reminds me of your work. He uses mainly pre-existing footage. He finds old films, corroding film, and he creates these, sort of non-narrative, but they still have some kind of musical narrative, I guess you could say. And the fucked upness, the destruction of the film is a part of the story almost. It's like the line between the style and it's hard to talk about these kinds of films without like defeating the purpose of them. But your films, again, are very much their own thing because they seem like I told you the other day. To me, they feel like something new. They're not ultimately like what many of us really struggle, which is we end up just repeating what other people have done. There's something very refreshing about your work. But I do notice a slight semblance in terms of the way you almost also try to erode the images. You try to, like the images themselves feel like they're fading. They're like these fleeting memories, the same way your films seem to be about that. So could you talk a little bit about that technique?
So what I do, which I haven't done with this actually, but what I do with my short films is that it's mixed media. So like I print every frame onto paper and then I scan it, and it creates this like grain structure it's similar to film, but it's different. It's a lot more grainy and it's a lot more unique, and it feels more like animation by the end of it than it does like live action. So I think when I started stepping into that, which was, I learned that through like my music video friends actually, so shout outs to them, but I realized that like this was a way that I could sort of create texture that I didn't have to, send out to Negative Land and process for like $100 for 3 minutes, like paper is a little cheaper, so it kind of became sort of my point of like exploring the formal side of experimental filmmaking in an interesting way, I think, hopefully, I don't know, but yeah.
Well, you achieved it greatly.
Yeah.
We'll do a sequel one of these days, but we do have to move on to the open reel. So everybody, round of applause for Justin. If you scan, once again, at the door, there's a QR code. I don't know what happened to the QR code we passed around. If you scan the QR code on the door, you can follow Justin and all the other filmmakers, including the beautiful Vista film that was 13 minutes long. The Lumiere brothers reincarnated a filmmaker from North Dakota who basically just films this. That's all he does, static states. Talk about
cool.
pushing experimental to the max. Okay, let's move on to the open reel. Misha, let's switch devices. This